May. Chapter Danielle. Sometimes, when you look back on things, it all makes sense. I remember the night before the carnival started. My family gathered in Grandma's kitchen, sipping tea and drinking coffee. We had just come home from the carnival site after making sure everything was ready to go. Grandpa sat in his chair, stressing. I figured he was tired and worried about the carnival, but after listening to those men under the burger tent, I realized he was agonizing over the Indians as much as anything else. Remember, the Indians are we usually call them indigenous people or First Nations or Inuit, depending on where they're from. We just call them, or we call them people from the tribe they belong to, like I'm a person from Canada. Grandma did her best to take care of Grandpa by waiting on him hand and foot, all the while stressing more than he was. And she tended to Charlie and Dad. Like Grandma, we all worried about Grandpa. We should have noticed that all of Grandma's fretting was wearing her down, and it was the reason she had a heart attack on opening night. I'm still not ready to talk about what happened at the carnival. I just can't. Maybe someday I'll be able to, but not yet. I can tell you about what happened after the ambulance, though. I rode to the hospital with Dad and Grandpa, while Mom rode with Grandma in the ambulance. Anna rode with Charlie and Terry. I remember Dad driving faster than usual on the back roads, and I remember Grandpa staring out his window. I try to imagine how Grandpa must have felt, but I'm not sure I can. I had only known Grandma for a small amount of time compared to Grandpa, and I felt like my world was falling apart. At the hospital, Grandma was rushed into the emergency surgery, and I found the waiting room again. Of course, the rest of my family was with me, and Grandpa sat staring at the wall while Dad and Charlie stood off to the side, talking in hushed voices. I heard Charlie say something to Dad about the other farmers. Mom joined them, whispering about how it would surely take a toll on Grandpa next. I know the indigenous people want our land, I exploded. Everyone turned to look at me. I said, I know they want our land. You don't need to be so secretive around me. Then, the one thing I didn't want to happen did. Can you guess what happened? She started crying. I started bawling like a baby. I'd been crying over Grandma already, but now I really lost it. Get a hold of yourself, Danielle, Grandpa said. Anna put her arm around me. Your crying won't help anything, he went on, and it just shows why we didn't tell you. That made me get mad. It got me to stop carrying on. I could handle it. Those greedy, self-entitled Indians are after all of our lands, Grandpa said to whoever was listening. They've been walking in other fields and deviling up who knows what sorts of plans. They can't be trusted, that's for sure. Grandpa, you shouldn't let the other farmers get you so riled up, Charlie said. It doesn't do you any good. The courts will handle it. You're probably right, Grandpa said. But if somebody doesn't get riled up, then I fear nobody's going to stop them Indians. Now, in Icetown, we talk about language and racial inequality all the time. The way he's using that word right now, it's coming off pretty rude. It's a slur. Now, some people self-identify as Indian, but as a group of people, there is no group of people called Indians. You know, that was like the wrong name that they were given by people who were looking for passage to India before they even knew North America existed. So, like, it's way outdated. Some people would say it's prejudice to use it. Just generally, if you don't know the person's background, you should just ask what their background is. But of course, Grandpa is right now lashing out in anger. He's very upset. His way of life is being challenged, and people aren't usually listening to the right and nice way to deal with people when they're upset and trying to defend themselves. I woke with a start several hours later. The doctor tending to Grandma entered the waiting room. We all took deep breaths and held them, bracing ourselves for the news he had come to deliver. The doctor pulled the mask off his face and walked over to our family. I kept waiting for one of those big sighs from him, but it never came. One of those big sighs would have been, I have some bad news. I think she's going to make it, he said. We let out a huge sigh of relief. She's in intensive care, and we'll need about another week in the hospital for us to monitor her progress, but then I expect she'll be ready to go home. Oh, thank you, Doctor, Mom said. Dr. Takoda, he said. Mom's face twisted at that funny name. Dr. Takoda. It's Native American, and it means friend to everyone, the doctor said, explaining his name to all of us. That seems like a good thing for any doctor, he added with a laugh. Yes it does, Mom said. The rest of us were as quiet as when Dr. Takoda first walked in. He was Native American. Didn't that just complicate our feelings? Was that the trade? Give me my grandma, and we'll give you our land? Dear God, thank you for not taking Grandma. We need her. I wonder, did she meet you up there and tell you she wasn't ready? It's wise if you listen to her. You better just wait till she tells you it's time. That's my advice. Now, I need to ask you something. Sometimes I feel like I ask for a lot, and that's probably because I do. But I don't ask for things that I don't need. If I forgot to say thank you for helping me figure out the land war, I'm sorry. Thank you. But the truth is, it hasn't helped much. I know you know what's going on, but I don't know what you're trying to do. We need your help. I think a lot of families do. I pray that you help us find a solution. I'm afraid of what might happen if the wrong man tries to solve it himself. Please help us. Amen. Wow, now that line right there at the end, very interesting. Definitely sounds like foreshadowing to me. I'm afraid of what might happen if the wrong man tries to solve it himself. Who's she worried about taking on this problem? Who's she worried about solving things themselves? Do you have a prediction? I know you do. Please write me. At least a paragraph. No. Please write your prediction down. And if you can make it a paragraph, good work. Please do that.